Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Women Speaking Sports RBA. Ladies, how are we doing today?
Good.
Oh, what? Can we get a little bit more energy?
No, we're trying to be conservative in the crowd.
Poor Carrie. Well, I'm excited to be here with you ladies today. We have had, like Carrie said, a rough weekend for some. Others came out victorious, but we will get more into that as the show goes on. Before we get even started, I would like to thank our sponsor, Jerry Howard, the Hilton Downtown Richmond, Fast Signs, and Mike Biz Radio Network. So if this is your first time joining us, I'm Star Mallory, your quarterback here for Women Speaking Sports RBA. To my right, I've got Miss Queen B. How are you doing today?
Hello. You know, Steph B has zero reason to be disappointed.
I feel bad for you, though. A little sad for you, that's right.
To my left, I have Miss Carrie Roth. How are you?
Well, I'm now rooting for Jimmy G.
Reluctantly,
Move on to Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. How are you?
I don't have a dog in the fight, so I'm here to give my objective opinion without the Cowboy haters saying anything.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Warning.
Again, I felt like I saw the Super Bowl this past weekend.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I don't think, it could get any better. But if we have another nail biting this week, I will be back to say something about that. But I did notice that our Cowboy fan doesn't have a jersey. I just haven't noticed.
Okay.
Okay.
You have a reveal, Lisa?
Oh, I do have a good
Okay.
So my favorite jersey is in a frame at home with the Robert Raffles. And that would be number 2 from the New York Yankees. So, but this is the mom and wife coming out of me. And I made this, you're gonna laugh. I'm not very crafty. Okay. This is my daughter's college jersey. And this is my husband's college jersey.
Oh, very nice. Very sentimental.
Now that my
Princeton, no less.
Oh,
But my husband's jersey is like frayed and yellow. I'm just saying, it's a little old.
It's a little
He's old.
Princeton, though,
Yeah.
I believe.
That's
Yeah.
good. Well, you notice that I have on my daughter's jersey, number 21, North Carolina A&T, Aggie Pride.
woo!
So I did not understand the assignment.
No, you did. We just did our own thing.
A jersey.
No. That's just the assignment.
With that being said, I have on my girlfriend picture her Ravens jersey.
Her lucky jersey?
I have on
She
her
left
lucky. She left it at
Yes.
home. So I have on Lamar Jackson, their quarterback's jersey, who has been in the news the last couple days. So I am representing for the Baltimore in-laws and for the friends and family.
Okay.
You want me on the couch? Look.
Go fishing.
Well, I am wearing Antonio Brown's jersey from the Steelers, and I know a couple questions will arise, and ladies, we will get to that. But Carrie, you, my lovely friend, could we talk about your jersey for a second?
Yes, so number 12, Tom Brady, who I have been following for 26 years since he played at the University of Michigan. So number 12 is my favorite number, which is what we were supposed to do, was our favorite number. And, he had an incredible fourth quarter, and it's just really hard to watch and see. And I had to go and sit in the dark in the sunroom.
But utility players.
But anyway, I'll have to say, this past weekend was probably by far the best weekend in the NFL that I have ever seen.
Right.
It was incredible.
Honestly.
Absolutely incredible.
Honestly. And I think the players really went at it because now the end goal, it was so in sight that everybody was putting their best foot forward. But there were some highlights this week that I want to talk about. And Carrie, you brought up Brady, so let's just go right there. Fourth quarter, they're down, and then it's like you blink, and then there are all these points on the board. What do you think happened?
Well, I mean, I think they had some real understanding at halftime of what they needed to come back and do, and it just was really, a few calls here and a few calls there, and it just doesn't happen. But what I will say, the only thing that saved me was seeing what happened to Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I mean, that made me feel so much better than Josh Allen. So I'm getting comfort in that.
Dr. Danny, you made a face, so I want to pass it to you.
Well, I mean, I've called it for the Bills. I think they outplayed, Mahomes. And I'm just going to say, I think that what Josh did with the talent that he had was worthy of a win. But it didn't come out that way. So when you said that made you feel better, I'm thinking like, poor Josh.
Well, that's because I felt so bad for Josh that, I could put aside my feelings about what happened at the Bucs.
Yeah, but you can't take
for a minute.
You can't take away anything from a Mahomes who he orchestrated a win with 13 seconds. So when you think about that, you have got to already have a mindset that this is doable. And what I saw, and I hate to point back to it, but I think, our Steelers dropped the ball on that, because when you have someone who's willing to lead and they believe in themselves,
Right.
You believe in yourself and them as well.
Absolutely,
And
yes.
that's what that represented to me. I thought you were going to ask a question about the referees.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was thinking
With the
about
calls that are coming through.
Absolutely. So go ahead. Talk to us about the referees and the calls that were made this past week.
Well, as a referee.
Right.
As a referee.
Absolutely.
Well, let's just put that out there. A different sport, but as a referee, once the call has been made, we got some replays, you can challenge the score. Once the call has been made, you got to get up there and play and keep going.
Right.
So as a referee and a coach, so I've been on both sides, right? You have got to get up and keep going, no matter how bad the call is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And that's going to be the thing. You might not always get the call you want. Right?
Right.
I told the coach today on Saturday, complaining about the call. I didn't give him the foul. I said, did you want the foul or you want the walk that your player took before the foul?
Whoa.
Wait a minute.
Get your end of the table together.
I'm done.
So what didn't they call that they could have called?
Right.
How many flags could they have thrown? I mean, as a ref, I was like, look, we have a 3-hour game. I mean, I almost want to talk about the overtime rules because it's something to be said.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Was 100%.
Get the ball
Yeah.
back.
That's
Right.
ridiculous.
No chance.
Right.
I feel like you should play the
Yeah,
full.
you orchestrated a touchdown. Surely you should have got a chance to have the ball.
And
back.
Absolutely.
I feel like you play
Everybody
you
should
play
have
every
possession.
minute
Have
until.
possession, something. I
Yes.
feel like the overtime rules need to be looked at.
Fine,
Right.
put 7 minutes on the clock.
And
Let
you
us
know
play
what,
the full
what blew
7.
me away is, the other call the prior week when the whistle was blown, that nobody heard the whistle
yeah.
on the other team, but all of us in America heard it.
Right.
Roger Goodell said, we're going to look into that and try to do better next year.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah.
I
Talk
mean,
to
like,
us,
that's
Stephanie,
gonna make
because
you
it
feel
looks
better.
like you are holding something back, and it looks like you have something to say.
Well, first of all, I want to say this. I think they did a great job with Mahomes.
Okay.
You got to give them some credit. One of the things that right away I was like, it's pocket or no pocket. That's really the options with Mahomes. So they were doing a really good job of keeping him in a pocket until, and it's just one
Right.
of those things. It's going to be who plays till the end when you're watching two teams like that. And I felt so bad for the Bills, but I do want to give the Chiefs credit, and I don't think it was in a shady way. Their fans donated $13 to Josh Allen's favorite charity to his in Buffalo, and I love that they did that. It started on Twitter, and there's a thing about being altruistic, but also being a good sport.
Right.
Not every win has to end with finger pointing and and spiking the ball on someone's logo and all that other stuff.
Or
So
pouring champagne on
or
fans.
right,
Ooh,
right,
child.
or pouring champagne. Or can we please?
We will.
At
We
some
will.
point.
We
But
will.
one other thing I want to say that I definitely want to get Carrie in. I also I think this about refs. You take this job, you know what's on the line. When you get to this point, you're here as a ref in the at the later stages. They're selecting you based on the success that you've had, the success ratio. So we know you're cream of the crop. when you make a mistake as a ref, you should expect to hear it. You got to let it go. It's, you know, I get it in one ear, out the other, but some mistakes just can't be made. So like, even when we go back to the Cowboys game, while I understand that he has to touch the ball before the snap, it's the methodology. It's what you did. It's knowing as a ref how to approach that situation. Did you, you know, the entire thing about refs and pro football, it be invisible.
Right.
Until you're not. And so in those moments, you know, when the ref does certain things, I think that's what people hold on to, is that they didn't see all the things you let go. They see that one major thing that created the problem, and that's where they're focused. So the refs are always going to get a little something. I just think the players have to know how to handle it as well.
I just wanted to add what was even more special about that donation to the Bills and their cause is that's something the Bills fans do.
Yeah.
The Bills Mafia is really well known for contributing to people's causes and rallying around players that are not necessarily on their team. And that makes it even more special. So it's really, I think you saw a lot of really, in this past weekend, a lot of great sportsmanship on the field. And that's really what this is all about. Yes, you both want to win, but at the end of the day, you need to walk off the field with your head held high and knowing that you're still all humans. And so it's really a great sportsman weekend.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree with you on that.
I think this is a great opportunity to do a couple shout outs. I know, Lisa, you said you wanted to give shout outs based on, you know, these communities that we're talking about.
Sure. A couple businesses I wanted to give a shout out. First of all, one that I represent that's 3 locations here in Richmond and 1 in Viva Las Vegas is Bombshell Salons. I get asked a lot about my hair. And
yes,
they
please.
do, yes.
You're ready out.
I know we're on the radio, but
You gotta have a hair flip.
they do hair, color, waxing, facials. They're just the all-inclusive salon, and they're just award-winning. They're phenomenal people. So I want to give a shout out to them. And also I wanted to give a shout out to one of my clients who I love dearly. It's a distillery in Goochland, Virginia. It's a bourbon distillery called Hilltop, and it was recently voted the #5 distillery in the country.
All right.
Go Richmond.
Right here in Richmond. Love that.
So small businesses, that's what I'm passionate about. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
So let's get back on topic. Now, Burrow, my guy.
Stars,
I have
Stars new guy.
This is my new guy. My new guy. Okay, calm down. Right. We're Steelers fan, ride till I die. But Joe Burrow has done nothing but impress me all year long.
Yeah.
You ladies know that I've had him on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
And I've started on my fantasy team, Dr. Danny. He's been my guy on my fantasy team. I've started him for the 14 weeks. And he has done nothing but disappointed. But he also did go against someone else that I had on my fantasy team who came back from IR, Derrick Henry. Now that was a game that I was very interested to see. Does anybody have a comment? Because I will say Burrow was sacked 9 times.
I was just
that's what I
for
wanna
that.
say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the thing that I had a challenge with is that when you listen to the commentary post game, everybody was talking about Joe Burrow. I mean, he was like the new great white hope.
Right.
He was getting on my nerves. He got sacked 9 times. In my opinion, they did not win that game. The other folks lost. So when you look at it, you should think about it. So when I look at it in terms of what his team did around him, all that was great.
Yeah.
But to get sacked 9 times
That's it.
and you still win the game, that means that the other guys are not doing their job.
Agreed.
Okay.
This offensive
Agreed.
line, there's no way they're going to win.
Not
I mean,
with
that can't happen again. I will say he had a lot of composure.
Right.
I mean,
But he's special.
yeah, he is. He really is. So
She
there's that.
just didn't show it that game.
Yeah.
I agree with Dr. Danny.
Well, and he's stuck in it. I mean, 9 sacks. That's
Right.
So his offensive
unbelievable.
line,
Yeah.
they gotta do it. They gotta
Yeah,
step
they
up.
gotta do better.
They gotta step up.
That was my 86-year-old mother sent me a text. She's like, these young guys are really good. So she's all fired up about them.
So what I love about this radio show is that it's just it's wonderful women coming together to talk about sports. And we've been talking about males in the field, but we also want to talk about some females. And one thing that was trending this week was Patrick Mahomes' wife and how she sprayed champagne all over the fans. Steffi, because honey, your face says it all.
They can't see
Well,
our
let's
face.
make sure that next time we talk about women in sports, we talk about
Women
women
in
that
sports.
matter in
Right.
sports. And I really hate that we're even giving any energy to this. I'll just say this. The family is collectively obnoxious. The younger brother does certain things, you know, TikTok on the sidelines. I mean, I'm now sounding like a boomer. TikTok on the sidelines. But I mean, literally, TikTok on the sidelines. You guys,
Just like
this is
collectively obnoxious.
I know, right?
collectively
Yeah, we'll sit
obnoxious.
in there right
Yes, that's what they are. This is not the first time that the young Mrs. Mahomes has perhaps overstepped her boundaries. And I do think it would behoove anybody who's a part of a sports family to recognize that your image is only about their image. Unfortunately, you're not an individual. You happen to be a plus one. A plus one none of us would know about, care about, think about, unless you were really out there doing your own thing.
Yep.
So I'm an outcome-driven individual. What's the outcome? What am I looking for? I'm looking to be a good support to my I shouldn't become the story. We shouldn't have ESPN or any of the morning sports pundits having these conversations about his wife.
Well, wait a minute.
And
she did get promoted, right? Because I think she's still just a. No, but she got promoted because they keep saying white.
Well, either or.
Maybe they got
I mean,
married.
you know, at this stage of the game, you got a kid together, and you know, this is it. Don't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever. That's the Gen X in me. I'm
That's
like,
exactly what I was saying.
I
That's
don't
a
care about
Gen
that
X.
part. I don't. Because at the end of the day, she's spending Mahomes' money. So that's what it all boils down to for men. It's like, okay, if this person now has access to my purse, that's the wife status thing. I don't care about that. What I care about is she's getting in the way, but his brother is getting in the way. And this is like 2 seconds away from being a LeVar Ball situation. Like, sit down. Enough is enough. That's my major.
Be humble.
Yeah, be humble for something you didn't earn.
Lisa, you are foot in PR.
Yeah.
So tell me how you would handle this crisis.
Okay, so I thought about it a lot this morning, and I thought, you know, if she knew, which she does, because she came out and said that she was the victim, she's been attacked by people, you know, I would just say, don't say anything, but apologize. Don't make yourself the victim, because nobody wants to hear that you're so humiliated and you just, you know, you're crying on Monday morning because you sprayed champagne on everybody. Nobody cares about that. What they want you to say is, you know what, I was excited in the moment, I got caught up, I'm really sorry to all those people. Why didn't she do that?
Yeah.
She needs a publicist, and I bet she's got one, but she must not be.
She needs a handler.
She needs a Lisa.
She does. So and then it makes him look bad, because like you said, it's all in one. You're a reflection of him. She just should come out, whether she meant it or not. Let's hope that she did. She should have come out and apologized.
I mean, I
Well, she
agree.
really didn't mean it because she didn't do it.
Exactly.
So she has a privilege of being a home plus one.
Mhm.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
Right.
And she needs, I mean, we all have our own privileges and our own rights. But she needs to apologize for
He's apologizing for his wife.
And she needs to act accordingly.
Yeah.
I mean, like Stephanie said, she wouldn't even get stored. She wouldn't even have access. She wouldn't even have made it.
Right.
Has she not been the plus one?
The same thing happened with Ayesha Curry, if you can remember. I just think that, you know, you also can't hate him because of her, because it goes back to, like, I love Steph Curry. And then Ayesha would say stuff, and then she would get, I think that the plus ones, whether it's a wife or fiance, whoever, just let your spouse play.
Yeah.
And stay off of Twitter, stay off of, unless it's positive, just don't get involved. all.
Yeah, I mean, what's going on in the press box? They not feeding you enough?
Yeah, exactly.
There's plenty of good stuff up there. Go on up there and chill out. You know, the last, go ahead. The last thing I'll say about it is it doesn't seem like a big deal until it's a big deal, right? So when you're looking at it from a business perspective, every single one of the individuals that now have the opportunity to pass the ball, to catch the ball, whatever it is, they now have a new brand. And the brand is beyond football. And so when you think about your brand, if she wasn't somebody that you were dating, had children with, or what have you, would that reflect your brand in the proper way? Because you think about it, there are some people right away, you know, post-football, that's it. You won't hear from them again. They don't have the personality for it. There's an entire potential of business opportunity, branding, all of that outside of football. If I have to deal with her, to deal with you, do I want to do it? Same thing happened, you know, on Hustle Time, I was talking about Venus and Serena. You know, when you look at likability of the people that are attached to the major brand, it becomes an issue. So you have Venus and Serena. Richard wasn't likable to the general population in that sport, and therefore it has attached itself to them. Doesn't hurt marketability because they're winning,
right?
But it still attached itself to them in ways where when they have a press conference, it comes up, or there's always this back and forth. There's always an undertone of it. You know, on the other hand, you take it outside of sports and you look at somebody who understood branding, and I talk about this with Mike, is you look at Matthew Knowles and what he crafted with Beyonce. His issues never became hers. You build a likable brand, you step back, you enjoy what that brand is doing, you encourage that brand to go. If you're gonna be Mrs. Anything, Mahomes, if you're gonna be Mr. Beyonce, understand that the brand needs to be untouchable, unvarnished. And a lot of times in the sport arena, where people are already saying, I don't need to be a role model, it's not the truth, and the fans are gonna hold you accountable, period. That's what it is.
Right. Well, and the same thing happened with Giselle. I'm sorry. The same thing happened a couple years ago with Giselle and Tom Brady. And she came out afterwards and said some stuff about, you know, his offensive line didn't protect him. And it was just like, come on. Let me just finish. I don't look at my sports knowledge based on what the +1 say.
I don't care about the +1.
I don't care about that. So it didn't affect me personally, but it just made it an issue that it should not have been.
Yeah, so I'll take that a little bit step further. One, what she's doing is distracting him from this game's week.
Yeah.
This week's
She's
game.
making herself the story.
It's having to talk about that is taken away from his focus for his team that he's the leader of.
Right.
What Giselle said was Tom can't throw it and catch it too. But what that happened to that was about Wes Welker, if you all might remember. And Wes took that very, very to heart because he didn't catch that ball. And so that's something that's come out in the Man in the Arena, and it was also in a book called The Dynasty around that. And so these actions impact a lot of people, not only your +1, but also the team around it. And so this is a team sport, football is, and it's just not one person, and those impacts can go quite deep.
Yeah. I think you ladies have made some really amazing statements that can really justify what has happened this past weekend. But leaving this past weekend in the past, we've got games this weekend. And of course, I'm pulling for Burrow to go all the way against Kansas City. And you ladies sat here last week and doubted me. And look at what my bestie did on the field. Look at what my bestie did on the field.
He got sacked.
He got sacked, but he got back up. But he got back up. He got back up. Now, I will say he will have a little bit of a challenge this week going against Kansas City. I do predict that it will be a good game. But you know, let's hope that
you're pulling for Burrow this week too.
I'm pulling for Burrow this week.
Who's tracking this?
You can track the receipts. I will happily say it every single week. I think
going for Burrow.
I'm going for Burrow.
Fair enough.
Okay, so ladies,
there's another game.
Of course, there's another game, Dr.
She'll go through them all.
So for Burrows versus Kansas City.
Burrows versus Kansas City.
Oh,
The Bengals. You know, Carrie, Brady. We see sit next to each other. We sit
That's
next
her-
to each other.
that's her
one of the
birthday
reasons
gift.
why Brady didn't deliver your boy. left the
Okay.
game.
All right. All right. So this week, do we think the Bengals are going to win or Kansas City? Steph?
You know what? I'm gonna go Mahomes. I'm gonna go Kansas City. I just think he'll pull it together.
Okay. Carrie?
I'm the same way, Kansas City.
Same. Mahomes is like unreal.
Stellan.
Kansas City.
Yeah, I've been rooting for Kansas City the whole time.
Ooh.
What? That's news. That is news. I know.
I've been picking Kansas City.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Look,
I'll change
there's too many degrees at this
That's right.
table. Semantics.
Look, my hands are frozen over here. Can I get some heat degrees?
Because you gotta see the last 2-minute performance. of
Okay.
last week's game.
But you know
That
what?
was a good.
The
Okay.
performance that he had, Mahomes, and that he practiced that the week before against us. I'm
Right.
sorry. He had what, 5
He did
touchdowns
put it
in
on
like
you.
11 minutes.
Yes.
He was going
He was
through
ready.
rehearsal then.
He was ready. We'll keep the mic down there. Talk to me about San Francisco and LA.
San Francisco won the last, what, 5, 7
Six.
games? 6
Six
games.
games against them. Yeah.
Okay.
San Francisco might have. They've been hot.
They've been hot.
They've been hot.
Rams all the way.
Mhm.
Rams are going to take this.
Mhm.
And I'm really hit
We'll see you in the
Wait.
Super Bowl. We'll see you in the Super Bowl.
Wait.
I
We'll see you
would
in the Super
say
Bowl.
Rams will win it if Stafford has a good game. All comes
Yeah,
really
come
good.
on, Matt. Matt is handling business. Come on, don't hate on Matt.
Oh, he's very inconsistent.
When last year? Because we talked
No,
about
I'm
now.
talking about, I'm
He's
talking
had a
about
good
this season.
season, though.
He has played.
Okay.
Okay.
all right.
Rams,
Okay.
that's
I can't wait till next week.
I'm going with Jimmy G, but I am excited to see Matt Stafford really get to be able to play up to his capabilities with the Rams that he wasn't able to do with his team at the Lions. So it's
That's
been
correct.
exciting to see for him.
I'm going to go with the Rams because Cooper Kupp has done nothing but catch balls down the field
Yes.
with like his left hand. It's been out of nowhere.
And can you?
I know. I know. Okay. Steph B.
I mean, you guys know you know how I feel about my man down there.
OBJ.
It's my man, Cougar baby. So I'm gonna go with the Rams. I also think that I think they're going all the way. I said that a couple weeks ago. I'm betting on the Rams in the Super Bowl. I think they're gonna. I really do.
I said that at the beginning of the season.
Did you too? Okay. All right.
Well, ladies, yet another week here at the table in the Hilton. It has been absolutely wonderful talking to you guys. I cannot wait to hear what you all have to say this weekend in our group chat. And I will be bringing those receipts next week because Burrow will disappoint you all because he is taking it all the way. So for those pulling the Rams in the Super Bowl, we will see you there.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, Michael at Sandman said he'd give away 2 tickets to a show ahead. First one to connect with John at the Hilton before this Friday and tell him a good joke can win 2 tickets to the show. Thank you all so much, ladies, audience, Mike, for tuning in at Women Speaking Sports RVA.